Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here at one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call taking my community back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out here and we're gonna shake hands. We're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds.
Good evening, and welcome to Coach's Corner. I have John Sloan, Yolanda White, and Steve Slaughter. We're recording live from Douglasville, Georgia, on TV 1061, on Roco TV, Facebook, and YouTube. We'd like to honor our sponsors first. Sherry Denard of State Farm on 422 Highway 155, McDonough, Georgia. We also want to talk about Jaguars International. Also recognize Poppin' Rockin' Running with the owner Dave Nicholson, the owner, on 161 Andrew Drive in Stockbridge, Georgia. I also like to talk about Let's Vape on Highway 42, McDonough, Georgia. This broadcast has been broadcast live broadcasting Roco TV 1061. And we'd like to thank our producer, Felix Washington, for broadcasting the show. Tonight's topic, we're going to talk about breast cancer and mental health. Start with breast cancer. This month is Breast Cancer Month awareness. All women should take advantage of getting a test once a year, mammogram, to make sure that they don't have breast cancer. And we want to honor all our survivors, all our survivors who have breast cancer or are going through it or enter into missions. Tonight we're going to have a special guest come on and talk about her breast cancer. About her, she had four different times she had breast cancer. About her name is going to be Sandra Letitia Little out of Hawkinsville, Georgia. We're going to broadcast her live from out of Hawkinsville. And she had it 4 times. She first diagnosed in 2016. At the age of 36. Then she did it the second time in 2017. She now has lung and bone cancer that spread from her breast cancer. She's currently in stage 4 of breast cancer. These are the type of things that some women fake to go see their doctors. They need to go check on their breast cancer. Everybody knows someone who has breast cancer, their loved ones, their friends, family. We need to honor these people, women, for what they do for breast cancer this month. So in that saying, we're going to thank you for joining us for breast cancer this month and give us a surprise moment, of silence for them just for a moment for all the breast cancer survivors this month. Well, let's open up this show up. We're going to talk about breast cancer for a moment across the board. For all the ones that want to call in, our number is 770-485-7724. This is being broadcast live, TV 1061 in Atlanta, on Roco TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Please call in for your comments on breast cancer and let us know if anybody that you know that have breast cancer so we can honor and those that have breast cancer. And that being said, we're going to take a little short pause for a moment and bring on our special guest. You got it.
Ms. Fur, and welcome to The Flavor. And our top 10 countdown starts with...
I was dead broke, I ain't had shit, but I made it all happen like magic. They counted me out, but I still made it out, and I took home the crown like a pageant.
Encourage your dream, number 2 on title, number 1 on iHeart, got the whole world.
Hello, this is Papa Snoop, and this is the tip of the week.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
Shalondra, welcome to the show. You're being broadcast live on TV 1061 in Atlanta, out of Douglasville, Georgia, on Roku TV, Facebook, and YouTube. 55 million views. I to hear your testimony tonight. We want you to tell the audience about your breast cancer and how you went through it. Shalondra, you're on air. Go ahead.
Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2016, in one breast, and a year and a half later, it came back in the other breast. And I dealt with it I was clean for 5 years. I did radiation, I did chemotherapy. I even got my breast removed and got them put back on. Reconstruction, meaning. And back in August of this year, I found out that it went from my breast to my bone to my lungs.
Wow.
So I'm dealing with that now.
When did you first find out you had breast cancer?
2016, November.
How did you deal with that when you was told?
It was hard. I mean, when someone said the word cancer, you always think of death. But I did think of that, honestly, at first. But then I knew I could beat this because I've seen millions of people beat this, so I wasn't going to give up. And also, I have 3 kids and 2 grandkids, and I needed to be here. And I needed to show them if something go on wrong, don't just give up.
How's your support group? How's your support group with you going through this phase of cancer?
I have a great support group. Like I said, I got 3 kids. They're here. My family is here. No matter what, they're here. And you need family at that point in time. You need family when you're going through that. You can't be by yourself. There's no way you can make that a cancer diagnosed, going through the treatments, going through the doctor's office, all this medicine putting in you. You will not be able to do that by yourself. So you need support. And that's what I got. I got support.
I have a question for you. You said you was first diagnosed in 2017. 16. Okay. Were you doing any annual checkups when they called it, or?
No, I caught it. One day I was doing a checkup on myself, and I felt a lump in my right breast on the top. So I was like, oh, this thing, no one that I know. I mean, who? I was thinking to myself, what is this thing? Actually, I played around with it for about 2 months.
Okay.
And finally, I went to the doctor because it started hurting. I also read that cancer does not hurt. It did hurt. That's another reason why it took so long. It took so long because people say cancer don't hurt, but it did. So I went to the doctor, and come out to be cancer. And then 2017, I didn't find it. The machine found it on a checkup.
Okay. Is that hereditary in your family, or it just happened to you?
It just happened to me.
How's your emotional stage right now going through breast cancer? Your mental stage with that?
Mentally, this cancer right here, the stage 4 lung and bone cancer you talking about?
Yes.
It was hard until I met a pastor named Pastor Murray. They diagnosed me in August. I was already going to church. It's the new church I was going to. But one day I went to church. I was upset. I was really upset. I had been known for about a month that I had cancer. And he called me out. And I was like, he called me out. He knew something was wrong with me. I was like, how you know that? How you know something wrong with me? He don't even know me like that. But he prayed for me. I cried. And he called the elders up. They prayed for me. And ever since then, I've been on the go. Ever since then, I've been mentally stable. I've been fine. I rarely think about the cancer. Because I'm going to beat this too.
I have a question for you, Miss Little. Are you and your family in some kind of therapy to help cope with the cancer that you're going through, the treatment, the emotions, and how to deal with everything? Because emotions are a lot.
I can't hardly hear you.
I said, have you and your family, are you all in some kind of therapy to deal with?
No, I'm not in therapy. My family is my therapy. But if I ever need the therapy, my family can't get me back to the stage I need, I will do therapy.
You mentioned that you're in stage 4. Can you explain to the audience what is stage 4 is and what's the risk of that stage 4 cancer you're in, and if there's a time factor they're giving you for that or anything?
Stage 4 is the last stage of cancer. And it's only stage 4 because it's spread from another organ to another organ, not because of the size or not where it's at. It's only stage 4 because it's spread it. The prognosis is not good. They said 5 to 7 years. I can't get rid of bone cancer. I just will have to. I do radiation. I'm going to have to do radiation in a couple of weeks and chemotherapy. I'm going to always have it, and just how they're going to have to treat me for the pain of the bone cancer in the lung. Right now, we're just working on the bone because I keep breaking stuff. I have it in my ribs. I've cracked 2 ribs on one side, and I probably got one cracked on the other side, which I got to go to the doctor for tomorrow. With bone cancer, your bones easily break. You can just run into it. You can just have a heart cough, and you can break a bone, laugh heart, and break a bone. That's what I'm going through.
Shalonda, hi, this is John. How you doing, Shalonda?
I'm fine. How are you?
Listen, we praying for you here that you get better. You have to have faith and believe. I think if you have faith and believe, the power of positivity helps move you to the next level. But my question to you is, I know that you say that your family is your support system, and that's great. But how did you explain that to them? You didn't tell me the ages of your children, so I don't know. But how did you explain that to them the very first day when you decided to tell them you had breast cancer?
My kids, I try not to keep nothing from my kids, health-wise. But when I first had cancer, 5 years ago, so my daughter was 13, and my son was 10. My other son was 10, and I have a 24-year-old. So, because I'm 41. I'm 41. Just had them early. I'm sorry, but they took it. My two youngest one, they took it fine. It's just my oldest one. He takes it real hard because he carries his heart on his shoulders. So I have to calm him more than him calming me. He's taking it real hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard.
Sorry to hear that.
But
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But question, are you doing anything for as occupation? Is it stopping you from doing anything as occupation, as work, or things around the house? Does it affect you any kind of way that do this?
I stopped working. I was working 17 years. I stopped working when I find out because I can't bend too much and pull too much without probably hurting myself. And if I don't hurt myself, I could probably heal better on that radiation machine. If I just keep breaking stuff, it's going to be harder for me to heal.
The important thing to tell other women is it's all right to tell every year to go get a checkup because you never know when it's going to come, right?
You need to go get a checkup. You need to get a checkup. Check yourself. If you're at that age where you can get a mammogram, you should get those. I was 35 years old when I was diagnosed with my first cancer, and it was like everybody that I ran into was like, "Oh my God, you're so young." But it happened, and things happen. If you feel a lump, don't wait and say, "Don't wait." It got to be something there. That lump is not there for you. It's just not sitting there. You understand what I'm saying? But if the earliest you detect it, the better.
I know there's a lot of breast cancer organizations around that motivate each other. Are you in any of the organizations that other women that have breast cancer that you part of, that you socialize with?
I'm in Relay for Life. I do Relay for Life. They come to Hawkinsville. We do the walk, light candles for the ones that pass. That's pretty much it. I said I was going to start walking with the walk, but I haven't yet. But yeah, I do Relay for Life. And also,
go ahead.
When you think of healing, you got to heal from the. You got to think every day that you're healthy. You got to get it in your mind that you're healthy. You can't keep in your mind, ladies, and gentlemen can get breast cancer too. You can't keep in your mind that you're going to be sick all your life. If you keep that in your mind, that's what you're going to be. So I always keep in my mind that I'm healthy, I'm well. I can do pretty much anything I want to do, but it's a little limit. And that's how I keep going. Pastor told me to keep in my mind that I'm healthy. That's how I deal with it. I don't sit around every day and talk about cancer. What for?
One thing you did mention, and that we touched on, I know you said that men get breast cancer as well, and that's a true statement. We're not doctors or nothing like that, but men do get breast cancer. There's very few that does it about that. About men do get breast cancer. A lot of men don't realize they can get breast cancer, but it is the fact that men can catch it, even though it's a small percentage, but they can catch breast cancer as well. So I know what you're going through by that. We're praying for you. A lot of women out there, have breast cancer. It is breast cancer month, so we thank you for coming on to the show and sharing your story about your breast cancer and how you coping with the stage 4 cancer, and hope you get better. We're praying for you and your family. Be safe out there. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Tisha.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yes, because you was the first person that came in mind when we were discussing breast
Yeah,
cancer. I know you have
thank you. I appreciate that.
Great story to share, and that you're a very encouraging person. And plus,
Yeah,
you're from my hometown, and I personally know you.
Can't let that cancer beat you. You got to beat cancer.
Yes.
And just before you close, this is Miss Little from out of Hawkinsville, Georgia, broadcasting from live on TV 1062, on Roku TV and Facebook. If anybody has anything to ask or call in about breast cancer, our call-in number is 770-485-7724. Don't be afraid to speak out about if you know someone with breast cancer. We're here to discuss that matter. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Find a reliable source of CBD products. Introducing Holistic Wellness Boutique, a revolutionary collection of CBD tinctures, CBD topicals, CBD edibles, CBD pet products, and other relevant CBD products that help you incorporate CBD into your everyday lifestyle. The best part? Through our special Radiant Transformations program, Dr. Alea Daniel, PharmD, a well-regarded wellness coach, licensed pharmacist, and the mind behind the idea of Holistic Wellness Boutique, will also introduce you to a healthier lifestyle through proper education, nutrition, and a thorough medication evaluation to make the most of our exemplary CBD products. If you are struggling with a chronic condition, we can help you discover how to live a more holistic lifestyle through wellness coaching and the proper selection of hemp-derived CBD products. Visit holisticwellnessboutique.com to schedule a consultation or order an audacious combination of hemp-derived CBD products that will rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit.
We're back at Coach's Corner. We just heard the young lady tell about breast cancer. Our next topic is going to be about mental health, which is another big topic here in our country about mental health. And we're going to bring the issue down to with John Sloan. He's going to come and tell you about mental health. Go ahead, Johnny, take it from there.
Good evening, and welcome viewers to Coach's Corner. My name is John Sloan. Today's topic is mental illness. My informational source is coming from the DSM-5, which stands for Diagnostic Statistical Manual. It's like the Webster Dictionary for substance abuse and mental illness. I have a question to the panel, or to my what's the number of population of people in the United States? Can somebody tell me that?
You have 329.5 million people, and out of that 329.5 million people, 55.5 million suffer from some form of mental illness, and 1 in 5 adults suffer from that. And then you have children, 1 in 6 children suffer from that some form of mental illness as well.
Steve, out of everybody, I knew you the statistical man. I know you would have statistics for me, so I wasn't surprised that happened. But I have a question for anybody. What is mental illness? Anybody tell me what mental illness is to them?
Emotional behavior, not psychological events, things that are not in normal life that they're doing.
You're absolutely right. It's a condition involving changes in emotion, thinking, as well as behavior. I want to break that down to you a little bit. A part of your diagnosis is called MICA, which is mentally ill, chemically addicted. That means because of my mental illness, I develop a chemical addiction. Also, they got something called CAMI, exactly the same opposite. Because of my chemical addiction, I develop a mental illness. PCP, angel dust, all the hallucinogenics. And they're treated differently. For MICA, you have to treat the mental illness first, and then you can deal with the substance abuse. But for CAMI, you have to deal with the substance abuse, stabilize the substance abuse, before you can deal with the mental illness. And that sounds crazy, you know.
And it also has an effect with the chemical imbalance in your head. That's what happens when a lot of people have CAMI, when they're, like, say for instance, if you have a person that drinks, you may have 1 or 2 people, one person that drink alcohol, nothing happened. Then you have another person that drinks alcohol, they get aggressive. It's the chemical imbalance within your brain that alters a lot of things that you do and the way you act.
And you know, that's funny because I like different words, but that's a sense of equipoise. You have to have a balance of everything, and they have an imbalance. Mm-hmm. This is why they say drunk people don't tell a lie, you know, because they have an imbalance in what they're doing. But let me also talk about what are some of the common causes of mental illness. Let me just say this to you. Living in a stressful environment is a cause of mental illness. Living in poverty can be a cause of mental illness. Having an abusive family, as well as childhood trauma can help that. But my question to you, anybody, is mental illness curable? That's my question.
It's treatable.
It's treatable.
What do you think?
It's treatable.
I would say it's treatable, but also I would like to add that over 27 million adults in the U.S. are untreated.
Statistical, man, I told you.
Untreated, which totals about 67% of adults that are not treated.
And which group is the most likely not to seek help for mental illness?
Males.
Which race and group?
Which race and group?
When you talk about,
I haven't done my homework on that yet.
Our group, the African Americans.
When you talk about treatable, it's treatable through medication, therapy, and psychotherapy. And there's a difference between therapy and psychotherapy. Therapy is just counseling. You know, they come down and you see the psychiatrist and they just talk about certain things that you're going through. But psychotherapy is like a psychosocial. You're going back into a person's history, their family, what they did last night, what they did 10 years ago, stuff like that. And it's like, it's over a longer period of time. It focuses on a much broader issues.
I want to piggyback on that. It's not just a psychiatrist. You can get counseling from a counselor. You can get counseling from a counselor. You can get counseling from anybody that's certified to give mental health. You can even talk to your doctor about it.
Absolutely.
You can talk to your pastor, but in order for you to go in the lines of actually getting your life together, some people have to have a counselor and a psychiatrist who can prescribe medicine, because some counselors cannot prescribe medicine. So you have to have the two. Then you have to also get in groups where you've been traumatized to help you get over, because we as people, especially in our race, we don't know how to deal with emotions.
Well, you know, since COVID came around, you got a lot of people.
Yeah, you have a lot.
Just went into depression, and they don't know who to talk to or how to deal with it. And then when you call some of these places, people are not picking up the phone. So they're stuck as to, like, what do I do? Where do I go? Because you have over 60% of the youth are in major depression that want to commit suicide, that needs are unmet. Yep. How do we deal with that?
Now you have a lot of outlets where they do, where they talk to you on the phone. You can do, what's it called? You can talk to them on the phone where they'll call your phone and you will have a visit with them. Televisit. It's a lot where you can call 24 hours, because now in every insurance that you have, they have some kind of outreach where you can call someone for help. Just like I encourage anyone, like people love to say, I like to vent. You can't always vent to everyone, because everyone is not there to help you. When you vent, while you venting to them, they'll tell your information to somebody else, and that will create that person to go over the edge. And I encourage people, it's all right to get help. It's all right to seek help. Get help if you're having something, because a lot of time we can have trauma in our life that we have put in the back of our minds and start having flashbacks. You don't know why you're angry all the time. You don't know why you're crying, because we have everyday environmental emotions like death. Don't let no one ever tell you that you ought to get over this. No, everybody grieve in a different way. Don't never let nobody tell you, well, you can stop using drugs. Until you have a person that is an addict in your family or yourself, it's hard to get off of drugs. Seek counseling, whether it's on a lower level or a higher level.
I agree with you. Steve, I
got a question. Let me interject that. How can you tell if a person have mental illness? How can you tell?
First thing with a person that is mental illness, from me working in my career, what I retired from, it always with them not taking their personal hygiene. Let's say, for instance, if you have a person that loves to put on makeup and dress up, then all of a sudden this person with wild hair, wild eyes, and they're just talking and mumbling to themselves. See, don't badger them, because it could be the tone that you're saying could set them off. You have to, when a person is having a mental disorder or a mental episode, you have to be careful about how you move, how you talk, how you say things, because some people are living with, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, none of that, let me clear that up. It's just something that in my old career that I've seen and I've learned, and I've took a lot of training with this. And I've worked with a lot of mental health counselors. But some people, you may come along, they may have a personality disorder where you may have 99 people living in them. But if you make that person angry, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be fighting 100 people. So that person may, let's say for instance, we're dealing with somebody, we come upon somebody, they see Steve and they go to acting out. They get real aggressive. Then I come along, they see me, they calm down. Best thing for Steve to do is to walk away and let me talk to that person. Because some people get triggered. Like another thing, like when we was talking about domestic violence, you have battered woman syndrome. Where you have PTSD, like some things with a man raising their voice can set a woman off. It's the same thing with men, and that's the same thing with children. If you have a happy child and something traumatic happens in their life, guess what? That happy child is going to become a sad child. You have to get the counseling for them. Don't be afraid, my people. Get counseling. And it's the best thing that you can do, because you don't have to worry about nobody telling your business unless you're trying to kill somebody or hurt yourself.
Yeah. You're right. I have a question for you, Steve. Statistical person, 75%, and I got this information from the DSM-5. It states 75% of children and young people with mental issues are not getting the treatment and the help they need. Can you tell me why?
It could be not having insurance. It could be lack of family members not being there. They're spending more time in the streets. It could be a host of things, but I would say the biggest thing would probably be the lack of insurance, because that seemed to be the biggest thing, is that a lot of people don't have insurance that they can take the families to.
I'm going to piggyback off of that, because it's a lot of places where you can go and get free counseling, but the biggest thing amongst our race is what people gonna think.
Right, that's true. That's true.
That's the number one, what people gonna think about you and view you.
Well, let me ask a question. How do the parents deal with if they have a child got a mental illness? How do they rectify that? How do they solve that?
Well, it's via counseling. The parents go to counseling, co-counseling with the child. They meet up with the psychiatrist or psychologist, and they talk about it. They meet up with their doctor, and the parents have to be aware of everything that's going on. They have to be aware of the medication, when that person decompensate, which decompensate means when they starting to get sick. And you said something, they stop combing their hair. They stop brushing their teeth.
With kids, a lot of it, when it comes, it's tricky with kids, because a lot of people write it off as, having some kind of hyperactive disorder like ADHD, ADD. But as you take your child through, let's say, they checkups as they grow, and you develop and you see things and you talk to the doctor, if you stay on track like you're supposed to taking the kids, the doctors can tell you tell them how they're acting and how they're in school. Because like a lot of people don't pay attention. They write their kids out because the world's so multitasking, and you miss a lot of things. And then they get misdiagnosed and they get on Ritalin, but they really don't need Ritalin. They need some other kind of medication to help you. That's why you have to take time, take breather. And when you have kids, pay attention to every little thing in detail that they're doing, because guess what? It could be why they acting out. That somebody could be done touched them in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or somebody could be done hit them in the wrong way that they know, well, my parent don't hit me like this. And it's just different things. Like when your kids are being bullied, most kids shut down or start acting out when they get home.
But I wanted to touch on something. You asked a question. How do you know when that person is having a mental illness? There's certain signs that, depending on the diagnosis, there's certain signs that a person will have, like excessive paranoia. They be very paranoid, worrying or anxiety. You can see, if you know that person, you can start seeing the changes in them. Like long-lasting sadness or irritability.
Yeah.
Extreme mood changes.
Yeah.
You know,
eating habits.
Eating habits, socially withdrawn from everybody. They want to be by themselves. So, and there are like 28 different types of mental disorders too. You know?
I mean, excuse me, Coach. You know, in 2019, the pandemic started happening, COVID started coming around.
Right.
98.6% of Americans mental illness.
Well, I love you, Steve. You always hit with the
that picked up strong. You know, 19.86% of adults of Americans, just adults with the mental illness, just hit them. That's equivalent to nearly 50 million Americans.
Do you think during the pandemic people developed a mental illness?
Oh, of course.
Of course. From depression? What do you think it might have been from?
Hey, I can't go out of town. I can't, you know, I gotta wear a mask.
I've been around her too long.
You know, I can't sneeze. You know, I normally sneeze every day. Now everybody look at me like I got COVID.
Yeah, you can't even
I can't cough. I can't. There's certain things that you can't do.
He got COVID.
You know, it's crazy, but we got to figure out how we got to deal with this.
Absolutely.
We're gonna take a short break, and come back and finish this conversation. This again, we want to thank our producer Felix Washington for broadcasting this show, and our sponsors. We'll come back in shortly.
My name is Dynasty, and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your event live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your talk show, sitcom, showcase, and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers, show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are very exciting times we live in. Traditional TV is all but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is now on the Roku platform with a viewership of 46 million and counting. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and streaming your own show or movie, or coming in as a sponsor or an advertiser, please send your contact information with a short description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hi, this is Ms. Fur, and welcome to The Flavor. And our top 10 countdown starts with...
I was dead broke, I ain't had shit, but I made it all happen like magic. They counted me out, but I still made it out, and I took home the crown like a pageant.
You accomplish your dream, number 2 on title, number 1 up iHeart, got the whole world.
Hello, this is Papa Snoop, and this is the tip of the week.
This Coach's Corner. We're talking back about mental health. He's back on the subject. Our call line is open at 770-485-7724. We want to hear some of the views, comments about mental health. Give us a call. Again, that call number is 770-485-7724. We're going to continue our discussion about mental health. Go ahead, Jan. Pick it up.
I wanted to say there are 28 types of mental disorders. Each has its own symptoms. I'm going to break a couple of them down, 2 or 3 of them, so you can understand what I'm talking about. Major depression. You feel sad and hopelessness with major depression. They got bipolar disorder, which is racing thoughts, risk taking. You're always taking a risk.
Let me ask you, risk taking. What about the the kids that's doing these shooting in schools? What causes them to do that? What caused the affected minds to go shoot up schools, these kids shooting up schools?
I don't know. I think social media have a lot to do with it. Just me personally, because I don't know if they're what type of mental disorder they have. Some of them just bad, you know, and then they listen, this is my personal opinion, some of them listen to social media, they want to do this, be on TikTok, and they want to do this and do that. I don't think it's the mental illness. It may be a part of it. It may be some mental illness and some behavioral. I can't answer that. I'm not a psychologist.
But some, from me looking at my, looking through my eyes, like with a lot of kids, when you sit down and they ask them, why did you do that? The first thing come up is because somebody may have bullied them. Instead of letting it go, they let it fester.
True.
And fester, and then it builds up.
That's behavioral though.
Yeah.
I pulled up some stuff earlier today when I was researching about that, and I saved in my notes, and it says a growing percentage of youth in the U.S. live with major depression. 15.8% of youth experience a major depressive episode in the past year, a 1.24% increase from last year's data set. In the bottom ranked states, up to 19% of youth ages 12 to 17 experience major depression. So there goes your school shootings and other episodes from major depression.
Wow, and I got something to talk about schizophrenia. It's something like you said, its onset comes between the ages of 16 and 30 years old when you suffer from schizophrenia, and what happens is you have hallucinations and delusions. What's the difference between hallucinations and delusions? Can anybody tell me that?
Now go ahead, break it down to us.
Hallucinations is what you see. You see certain things and you believe it is real. This is what you actually see. Delusions is what you believe. Like I gave an example before, like you may believe that there's no racism in America. You may believe that all cops are bad. To the fullest, that nobody can tell you nothing. You believe this. Like you can believe anything you want to believe, and 9 out of 10 times it's not true. But you believe that. You heard people say, "Oh, she's delusional." Yeah. Have you ever heard that comment from like anybody?
Like I'm in love with Michael Jackson. He loves me. I'm married to him.
Well, he's still living. We know that he's still living. He'll be back soon.
Let me throw feedback on.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of more mental health in single parents than parents with two parents in living?
Yes.
Tell us why is that?
From my understanding, anytime you have a two-parent household, you're more stable in everything that you can do. The mother, she might have 3 or 4 kids, and she's out there working every day, 2 jobs a day, 2 jobs in one day. So she had 3 or 4 kids, and they out there doing what they do. And this comes back in with the behaviors that we were speaking about. Okay, that's fine, and that's great. I'm glad you disagree.
What you disagree?
Because I was raised by a single parent, and I had a great life.
Oh, you were lucky.
No pressure, none of that. But then I have friends that have a 2-parent home, and all they do is fuss, and the only reason why they're staying together is for the kids, but actually you're hurting the kids. So I'm gonna say it equals balance itself out. It depends on what situation and the environment is.
Well, I'm just saying that you were really lucky to have a 1-parent household, and you were great.
There's a lot of people. I'm a single parent. My kids are great.
Statistics say that you're stronger when you have 2 households. You have a mother and a father taking care of your kids as opposed to having just one mother with several kids struggling.
Okay, I'm big on that. What about a mother bringing in another stranger into the house that's not their father? Then what do you think about that?
That's very difficult. That's very difficult to do because the children may not accept that person, whether it's male or female, to be there, to interact with their mother or father. So that's a very difficult situation.
So when that brings some emotional behavior too?
Absolutely. And that can brings in a whole lot of stuff when you bring another person into your household, whether it's a male or female, and it causes chaos, and it becomes dysfunctional way of thinking. You have dysfunction in the household. Totally dysfunctional. Do you agree with that? You have dysfunction in the household?
It depends on how you raise your kids. Like I said, it depends on how the person treats you. It's all about the action. Me personally, if somebody gonna treat my kids wrong, I'm out of there. You got to go. Like some people feel like they have to have a mate to help them. Me personally, I never have felt like that. I've been 10 toes down strong. If you feel like even with their dads, when they were treating wrong, cutting up or whatever, you got to go because it's imbalance in my house. It's an imbalance. I'm not fit to be fussing and have my kids emotional disturbed because you want to do your thing and I want to have a loving family. But you know, if you look at statistics about going to prison don't matter. It's a lot of men that came from two-party family that got religious backgrounds and everything. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you in a good family or a bad family that fight every day. It's at the end of the day how the child decides what they're going to do when they get a certain age. Some kids learn to be tough and have a normal life. And some kids just turn out to be just terrible if you give it to them good. Because I can just go on about using examples about it.
Let me just say this to you also about schizophrenia, dysfunction ways of thinking. Here's a way of, this is a part of schizophrenia. Wearing a raincoat on a sunny day because they have disorganized, dysfunctional ways of thinking. So a person can wear a raincoat on a sunny day and on a rainy day, they don't wear a coat. Remember, schizophrenia is disorganized thoughts and dysfunctional ways of thinking. And they got something also called schizoaffective disorder.
So you gonna say I'm schizophrenic? I wore my raincoat every day.
Absolutely.
I wore my raincoat every day. Every day at work. Rain.
Was it raining?
It wasn't.
It wasn't raining.
It was hot. I wore a raincoat.
And when it was raining, you didn't wear a coat?
Pull over. Oh, you
when it was raining, you didn't wear a coat?
I had an umbrella.
Oh, you told me it was gonna rain. She totally skipped.
No, that's false information. No,
this is true. This is true.
Okay, an environment. So you saying all the people that I work with, all my old coworkers,
I'm talking about a person.
Schizophrenic.
I'm saying the person who suffered from schizophrenia.
I'm just saying that.
No, listen to me very carefully because we don't want to mix this up. I'm saying, and I got this directly out the DSM-4 and DSM-5. Schizophrenia, they have disorganized thoughts, dysfunctional ways of thinking. So again, you just wanted to do that because that's what you wanted to do. You probably wear a raincoat every day, just keep it, so if it rains, you'll have it, or umbrella.
I'm saying with people looking like you don't know it. Somebody may hear you say that, giving that example by wearing a raincoat. They see a person that wear a raincoat every day. Well, darn, she must be schizophrenic.
On a sunny day.
Then if I don't wear it, let's say for instance it's raining, I have an umbrella. What's going on with her?
I can understand what you're saying about statistics.
Yeah.
I mean, statistics are statistics.
Right.
Yeah.
Example, it's 80 degrees outside. I walk into a bank with a jacket on. All the cameras are going to beam in on me. The security guards are going to beam in on me. Right. Guess what? It's 80 degrees outside. This guy with a jacket, we're going to get robbed. I just cashed the check and walked out the door. Mm-hmm. But statistics say I'm going to rob that bank. Mm-hmm. It's not true, but you know, statistics are statistics because
that's why I don't believe.
I mean, the reason that's statistics because that's what's been shown the most.
Well,
and I understand that.
Like I said, I get my information directly out where a person can go back and take a look at it.
Right.
So
that's why it's called statistics.
I didn't write
that's
it.
Why,
but what I'm saying to you is that the DSM-4 or the DSM-5 is like Webster Dictionary. Hold on, it's like from the Webster Dictionary. It gives you all medical situations in there, whether it's substance abuse.
In order to build cases, you have statistics.
Right. So what I'm saying to you, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying over a period of time, you can maybe not wear something one day or wear some other. That's just how you feel. But I'm saying continuously over. That's the optimum word. Continuously. Over a period of time, there's a problem, man.
Well, she thinking about that raincoat.
I'm thinking about that raincoat because I wore mine 300 every day I was at work. So that means my co-worker, we wore ours every day, pullover jacket.
John, you had said something about drugs and alcohol is a problem of mental health.
Micah.
Yeah. But so if the kid sees their parents doing that, will that affect them and their mental health if they doing it, the parents doing it around the kids and doing drugs right in front of them? How does that affect the kids?
It can over a period of time. You know, it depends on what's going on in your household. But it's just like if a person see their mother being abused all the time, eventually that's going to affect them over a period of time. Maybe little girls may think this is what it's supposed to be. So and she may have somebody beat her up or think it's okay. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying, or a young man seeing his father smoke marijuana over a period of time, he thinks it's okay. And then 9 out of 10 times, he's gonna do it because children emulate what they see their parents do.
It can go either way. They can either go down the road the wrong way, or they can go down the right way.
He just asked me a question. We know that it can be either or. He just asked me a question. I'm saying.
But what if you have a family, say for instance that nobody smokes or do anything? It has a lot to do with peer pressure too, that wants to fit into what's going on around the people. That's why you have to teach your kids to be leaders, not followers.
That's what, yeah. We wasn't talking about peer pressure. He was just saying what's going on in the household.
In the household.
What's going on in the household. The question was, do their children more or less emulate what they see? And can they develop, and I said something earlier, a dysfunctional family can cause a person to have a mental illness.
Okay, let's come to the question. Is it more the lower income people have mental health, or is it?
It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Rich, poor, white, black, economical, it doesn't matter. If you have a mental illness, if that's what it is, that's what it is. It doesn't, it's like the virus or like the COVID, it doesn't discriminate. Mental illness don't discriminate. How many people you said have mental illness? 51.5 million people?
Yeah.
That tells you right there.
Yeah.
How many people are in the population? 325.5 million?
Yeah.
So and they say 1 out of 5 people, adults, have mental illness.
So are you one of those 5?
I am. I'll take it. I'm
it's like some people, it's hereditary in their family. That's why I tell people all the time, find out who you're dating so you can be able to handle what's going on inside their families and let them know so that won't be passed down to your child genes.
And I think the biggest thing is I know amongst the African Americans is that I've seen with mental illnesses or any kind of problems that African Americans are scared to. They don't want people to know.
That's it.
I don't want anybody to know. I don't want them to think I'm crazy.
That don't mean you're crazy.
You're not crazy. You just have a problem that you can't figure out.
That's right.
And you need help to bring you to that degree of knowing that you're okay, but we got to fix these problems.
Here's a question for you. 20 years ago, it was mental illness, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. What changed?
The food. The medicine,
the environment,
everything. What you see on TV, the music, everything.
Have changed.
It's changed.
It's a whole
5 years ago, we used to call people 7:30, but we just laughed because there wasn't that many people around. Yeah. But now I work in a couple of different psychiatric hospitals, and there's young kids coming, and these young kids are dangerous. It's like if I see 2 dudes fighting, 2 little dudes, I ain't gonna break it up. They 15 years old. Normally I'd be, okay, shorty, let me break it up. Now I'm not breaking it up. You know why? Because they may have guns. Maybe something's wrong with them. Something that triggered them. Yeah. And I'm not breaking it up.
And a lot of things back then, 20 years ago, a lot of people didn't talk about. They would shut their family member off in a room and not speak of that person or what's going on. So now it's people are more forthcoming now with having problems because, the school system has lacked so much till now. Teachers got to be on something just to handle what's going on. They'll call you all day long on your job instead of doing their job.
Yeah.
We go. Our time is about up on this hour show. We're gonna continue this next week. Gonna continue with another part of mental health, dealing with the military and kids. Next week's show. So again, the line is still open at 770-485-7724. But anybody want to call it in our conversation for next week? We'll have part 2 of this conversation. Again, we want to thank our sponsors who sponsor the show. We want to say State Farm, Sherry Denard of 422 Highway 155 in McDonough, Georgia. Jaguars International, Poppin' Rock. Dave Nilton, owner of 161 Andrew Drive in Stockbridge. Come visit him, Dave. He'll have any cabinet needs and countertops you want to do. Then we get Les Vape on Highway 42, McDonough, Georgia. This cast has been broadcast live from TV 1061, Douglasville, Georgia, on Rocco TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Again, we want to thank our producer, Phil Washington, for this broadcast. We'll see y'all again next week.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
All right. Deuces.